Live from CPKC Stadium in Riverside, Missouri, it's Neal Jones. I'm Gabe Swartz. It's KC Sports Night today, Friday afternoon. Neal, how are you doing out there?
It is gorgeous. In fact, this is the best weather I've ever seen at this stadium. It's always very, very windy here on the river, and a lot of times it's been cold because it's been springtime. The first match this year, the first match last year were kind of that way. But this is gorgeous. I'm so glad for the rugby aficionados they had good weather. The problem is, there was about an hour ago, there was a pretty good storm, and there is another storm that is brewing. Behind the camera back over there, it's as dark as night. It is really bad. The people who run the stadium said they think I'll be okay, although they are taking bets in the press box that I might be electrocuted, and so I think they're hoping that maybe I'll get hit by lightning. I talked to, we don't have a meteorologist down here, no Luke Doris down here, but Jessica, the beer salesman, says this thing won't hit for maybe an hour. So Jessica, the beer salesman, says I'm safe. The people in the press box think I'm going to get hit by lightning. But if the weather does blow through, Gabe, I really do believe it's going to be a really great opportunity for a special night for rugby. They're trying to set the all-time record. The highest record before this was about 2,800 fans. They've sold over 9,000 tickets, and they are sold on the regular market as well. I know there's some tickets available on the secondary market, but they're telling me they're going to allow some standing room only tickets that have went on sale earlier today. In other words, a lot of people are excited about this match.
So we're hoping that the storm holds. This becomes an abbreviated, a quicker show. It's because something rolled in on Neal here. But Neal, you already mentioned it. You are out at CPKC Stadium. It is the U.S. against Canada in women's rugby tonight. It's the first ever event, first ever sporting event that is not a KC Current or not a soccer game at CPKC Stadium. Have you figured out the rules, or are you all locked in for tonight?
I don't know anything about rugby. It's interesting. Obviously, I went to school overseas and I've been overseas a bunch, but the reality is I've only seen one rugby match. I didn't stay for the whole match. I was doing a feature on the Kansas City Blues rugby team, and a guy who was on the Blues back in the 1990s. I don't know how you even score it. I kind of get an idea of how you play it, but I don't have any idea if you get 100 points for a touchdown. Or 6 points, or if it's even called a touchdown. I don't know what it is, but I'm very excited to see Team USA. They are captained by a Kansan. She's from Salina, Kansas, and she's excited to be here. She said a bunch of her family and friends are going to be here, and of course they are thrilled to be playing in a stadium, the only stadium in the United States, the only one worldwide that I know of that was built for women's professional sports. So this is pretty exciting for them. And I think also for our audience, I think full disclosure, I am an American, and Gabe, you're a Canadian. So you were born in Canada. So
that's not true.
And I know you're an inveterate gamble. You gamble on everything. So did you bet on your home country, or are you betting on your new country?
There's none of that going on. I did live in Canada for 5 years, so that is a half truth, I would say. From
You speak Canadian. You told me you speak Canadian fluently, and that you were able to learn English. What's the difference? Like, give us your Canadian accent.
The word "a" is used occasionally. They pronounce certain words a little differently than I would say that we would, but it's a little bit of a Minnesota-ish version of English to some extent. So you will have that tonight at 10 on KCTV 5 News.
The only time I've noticed the difference between your Canadian background is you refuse to eat American maple syrup. That's the only thing. In all other ways, you seem like a regular American.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so Neal's got that at 10 tonight. That brings us to, I guess, the story of the day, the story of the week in Kansas City. The Royals, 3-game winning streak. They just swept the Rays. They've won 9 of their last 10. They're up to 2 games above 500 for the first time all season. What stands out to you most about what they did in Tampa Bay this week, Neal?
Well, the pitching continues to be as good as there is in Major League Baseball. Their starting staff is averaging longer starts than any other team in Major League Baseball. Partly that's because they try to let their guys go as deep as they can, so they'll pitch them into the 6th or 7th. They don't go 5 innings and out automatically. So maybe that's part of it, but the fact is their starters have been very, very effective. What's jumped out was yesterday they actually scored some runs. I mean, it seems like every game is 4-2, 3-2, 3-1, stuff like that, and it's the game is always on the line. You talk about high leverage situations. It seems like every single Royals pitcher is pitching in high leverage situations, even if they come in the 6th inning. But last night they scored 8 runs. They've started to show signs that maybe Salvi, he's certainly hitting the ball better. Maybe he's hitting with more luck. He had a double yesterday. He got banged up on that play when he slid in. His hip hurt a little bit. We don't know yet. You'll probably know. I don't know if he's going to be in the starting lineup. They had indicated
not
yesterday.
In the lineup today. But Matt Quatrero said that it's one of those things that flares up. Salvi joked yesterday that he's been dealing with this for the last 7 years. So I don't think that there's a huge red flag as far as a worry or concern about it at this point.
But he's hitting the ball better. Bobby Witt Jr. continues to do what he does, which is hit over 300. He had a home run yesterday. He hadn't hit a lot of home runs so far this season. But remember, they've been playing in cold weather for the most part. That was by far the warmest weather they played in. It was an outdoor stadium in Tampa, Florida, and all 3 days were warm, and it seems like that may have helped their hitters a little bit. And also, Vinny Pasquantino is starting to hit. We saw him opening day have a massive game with a home run and a double, kind of willed the team into extra innings on his own back. But for the most part, he has not been as consistent, has not been as successful as he had hoped he would. But maybe he's found it. He had a double and a great at bat on a high ball that he was able to go the opposite way and get the runs in. He remains just a tremendous run producer because he does whatever it takes to get the run in, whether it's a fly ball, a ground ball the opposite way just to get the run in from third, or in yesterday's case, he had a bases loaded single and he also had a double.
Yeah, and Neal, you mentioned to me this afternoon discussing how do we feel about the Royals? How do we feel about being at 17 and 15? Are they outperforming expectations? Are they where you thought they would be? I'm looking at the last 10 games, and over the last 10 games, they have the second best batting average in the league. So that is improving, and now it's just a matter of hitting with runners in scoring position. As you mentioned, they did that really well yesterday. Are you up, down? I saw today on ESPN they were doing a grade at the end of April, and the Royals got a C, which I felt like was a little harsh considering how great the pitching has been.
Yeah, their pitching is elite level that leads you to believe that if they hit it all, they're going to be really impressive as the season goes on. Mm-hmm. But injuries are going to happen. Last year, they were remarkably healthy on the pitching staff, especially the starters. If that continues this year, I love their chances of making the playoffs. But they need to stay healthy. Bobby Witt needs to stay in the lineup. Vinny Pasquantino missed a bunch of time with that broken thumb during the stretch run. He pushed himself and was able to get back in the lineup for the postseason, although he was probably not as effective as he would have been, because baseball is a game, as you know, Gabe, that you need to play every day. Your timing is so critical. So if they can stay healthy, both in the field with their fielders and with the pitching, I think this is a team that probably will be in the running for a playoff position, and dare I say, maybe even make a run for the division title. Although the Tigers, everybody that knows baseball says the Tigers are for real, that they've had so many high draft picks. They've been doing a good job of bringing guys up to the system. They also got lucky on a couple of trades, so they look like they're a pretty decent team as well in this division.
Yeah. They are starting a 3-game series this weekend against the Baltimore Orioles. That gets started at 6:05 tonight. We will have highlights tonight at 10. Bobby Witt Jr., as you've mentioned, he's on a hot streak. He had his 3rd home run of the season yesterday against the Rays, extended his hitting streak to 22 games. How far do you think he can take this, Neal?
Well, I mean, baseball is so much about luck. You know, you hit a blooper and you get jammed and it's on your hands and you muscle it over the infield and you get a single out of it. And then other times you hit a ball right on the button. In a Kauffman Stadium especially, it's so deep in the outfield. You hit it on the button, it's a home run or a double everywhere else, but here it's a line out to one of the outfielders. Yesterday's home run was typical Bobby Witt fashion. He hits the ball hard to all fields. He goes the opposite way and cranks it just inside the right field foul pole. For a right-handed hitter, it's hard to do, but he got it done. That's how good a hitter he is. He has a great bat, a great eye. If there's any, when I say eye, he's able to follow pitches. He doesn't miss a lot of pitches necessarily. The one area that you could question is he does not take a lot of walks. I think that's the one piece of the puzzle missing. But I think the Royals also want him to remain aggressive. They want him to be aggressive. Swing the bat. Don't get up there trying to dink and hope that you can get a walk. Be aggressive and go after people, and we'll see. Well, the front just blew in. Temperature just dropped 10 degrees in 5 minutes. It might have been something I said about Canada. I'm sorry if I made fun of Canada.
You might have brought the cold, yeah. I do think that the most encouraging thing about the hitting streak and the most encouraging thing about the first month of the season for Bobby has been that his strikeout percentage has gone down, his walk percentage has gone up. That has happened in every season of his career, so he's continuing to impress. I think if he can, it's a big if, but if he can make it through this weekend against Baltimore with the streak alive, gets it to 25 through Sunday, then you're getting the White Sox in town to start next week, and maybe he starts to flirt with that Whit Merrifield Royals record of 31.
You know, Gabe, a lot of it is game situations. If the Royals are way behind or they're way ahead, he's more likely to see them come after him and pitch to him. But if it's a tight game and first base is open, you know, why would you pitch to Bobby Witt Jr. when you got some other guys deeper in the lineup you believe you can go out and get, right? You can get them out. So a lot of it's going to be determined how the guy behind him hits. If it is Vinny Pasquantino, they've moved Vinny around in the batting order a little bit over the last week and a half. But if it is Vinny and he starts hitting, that will benefit Bobby Witt Jr. He'll see more good pitches. And Ryan Lefevre said the other day, last Sunday on the radio broadcast, he was doing radio, he said his dad, Jim Lefevre, who played in the majors for a long time, told him a million times, good hitters don't hit home runs off great pitches. They hit off bad pitches down the middle. Well, Bobby Witt Jr. is much more likely to get a pitch down the middle, down Main Street, if the guys behind him are pounding the baseball, because they're going to go after him. But if they can pitch around and put him on first base and these other guys can't hit, then that benefits the pitcher, and so he won't get good stuff to hit.
That's absolutely correct. All right, last thing of the day. We're going to get this out of here because I know that you're dealing with the wind coming in. Rookie minicamp tomorrow. You'll be out there. I'm going to wrap this thing up, Neal, as the front moves in. Thanks for watching this week. We will see you next time.